Welcome back to my channel. As promised, I'm going to do a one review of this machine right here. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kamanzi Constable. Here we talk about business, life, travel, and trending topics. I'm very glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can get all of the notifications when I drop new content. My goal is to give you practical content that will help you build every part of your life and business. The M1 Pro MacBook Pro. The version that I got is the 10-core, 16 gigabytes of unified memory, 16 gigabyte GPU, 1 terabyte of SSD, so storage. That is the version that I purchased a week ago. I've been using it every day for the last week, and I want to give you my honest impressions of what I think of it, especially considering that I had this. So this, which you may not be able to see until I open it, this is the original M1 13-inch MacBook Pro. I got this when it first came out, and I have to tell you, this was an incredible machine for me. So I had the Intel-based Macs before this, and then when this came out and I got this, and the battery life, the way that it could handle anything that you threw at it, it's been an absolutely amazing machine. So when these came out, I had very, very high expectations for these. And so I'm going to give you my 1 week review of what it's like in everyday use. And I'll tell you up front that I am not a tech reviewer. I'm actually not somebody that's incredibly techy. That I can do a few things, but tech is not necessarily my thing. So I'm not going to be running DaVinci Resolve or a Final Cut Pro. I'm not a developer. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a video editor. And in fact, we have an amazing video editor that edits all of our YouTube videos. So I'm not even using this machine for that. I am somebody who owns a online business. I write for a lot of large publications. You can see my articles in Ask Men and Forbes and Business Insider and a lot of large publications like that. So I primarily write. We have an online business where we sell a membership program. So a lot of the work that I'm doing is more so web browsing, word processing, Zoom calls, so like everyday stuff. So when I'm giving you this review after 1 week, I want you to understand that's the perspective that it's coming from. So if you're a creative professional, you're a professional that uses this machine, you need the processing power, this is not the review where you're going to come and you're going to hear about how this handles big, complex tasks. This review is for the everyday entrepreneur that's thinking, do I really need to upgrade from maybe like original M1? Do I need to upgrade from an Intel-based Mac? Yes, upgrade from the Intel-based Mac. But for the original M1, you might be wondering if it's worth it to upgrade to you. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons. I'm going to be brutally honest, because before I spent $3,000 on this 16-inch, I had watched a lot of videos. I had done a lot of research, and a lot of it was by people that are tech reviewers and that are highly technical and do creative work. And a lot of it didn't apply to me. And so I wondered, I'm like, should I buy this? Because I haven't seen somebody who does what I do, somebody who's just the everyday average user. I haven't seen them talk about their experiences. And so for me, I want to be able to give that blatantly honest review that could help you decide one way or another if this makes sense. So let's get into it. Good news, I got coffee. For those that follow my channel regularly, they'll tell you that I may have a slight caffeine addiction. I admit it, but coffee is life. So let's get into this. All right, so I have my Mac, I have my iPhone 13 Pro here. By the way, if you're looking for a product with incredible battery life, this 13 Pro here, this 13 Pro, this is an Apple product that has blown my mind. I got this along with the Mac at the same time. I had 11 Pro Max, and the battery life on this is insane. I'll do a review of this in another video. But so let's talk about the things that I like, and let's talk about the things that I don't like with the 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook. So the version that I got, I told you it's 10 core, 16 gigabytes of unified memory, or the RAM, 16 gigabyte GPU, 1 terabyte SSD, so 1 terabyte of memory. I got the 16 inch, and that's how beautiful it looks. It's a great, great machine. Now, I had the original M1 13 inch, and I got the new ones because I wanted to upgrade to the 16 inch. I wanted the larger screen. I wanted the larger screen all the way back in 2019, but I didn't upgrade to the Intel based ones because of how hot those machines got. The Intel based MacBooks that I had back then got incredibly hot, and I'm like, I don't want to get something that is that big and that hot all the time. So I didn't upgrade. So when these came out and I saw 16 inch, I definitely wanted the bigger screen. That's why I got it. It was within my budget. It was a business expense, so I went for it. So the things that I like about this machine is that it is super fast. Even this isn't the fully spec'd out one. This isn't the Max chip. This isn't the M1 Max chip. It is lightning fast, no matter what application I use, Zoom or Asana or WordPress or Grammarly or some of the software that I use every single day that is not necessarily native to Apple. This is lightning fast in that software. When I'm on my Zoom calls, it holds them amazingly, and it's wonderful. So right away, I could tell you that no matter what version you get of this MacBook, the new M1 Pro or the new M1 Max, it's going to be an incredibly fast machine, and you're going to notice how fast that it is. Now, the second thing that I like is the larger screen. Here's the 16 inch. Now, I'm going to open my original 13 inch so you could, so it fits inside here. That's the screen here. Here's the screen for the new one. What I like about this screen is that it's all screen. So less bezels on the top, meaning there's not that area right there where it's just kind of black area. It's a lot more screen real estate. So when I want to open multiple applications, and I'm not the type of person that has 50 tabs open. My wife is that type of person. I'm not that type of person. But when I do have multiple tabs open, it's nice to have bigger screen real estate. Also, we are digital nomads. We travel full-time for a living. We're currently in Puerto Rico right now. We're going to be going to Italy and Lisbon, Portugal, and a lot of locations. So we travel a lot. And when we travel, we watch TVs or shows or entertainment or YouTube on our MacBooks. So to be able to have that bigger screen to watch my shows, to watch YouTube, just to watch anything has been great. The third thing, so it's really fast. I like the larger screen. The keyboard. Oh man, I am a writer. I write about 5,000 to 10,000 words every single day. So I'm tacking on this keyboard quite a bit. And I gotta tell you, the experience tacking on this keyboard is so much better than any other MacBook that I've had. It feels like you're actually typing on it. It's an incredible experience. The way that the keys are laid out, the way that it's integrated, I love the keyboard. Now, I was one of the rare few people that did like the touch bar, so I was a little salty when they got rid of the touch bar and they put full function keys. But I have to say, I'm not missing it. The one thing that I would tell you as somebody who actually liked the touch bar and used it, because when I was typing, like writing, it would suggest words and it was easy just to tap those with the touch bar, and then to use it in Zoom and other applications to kind of use the touch bar for various things. I enjoyed the touch bar, like I liked it. But as somebody who was used to using it and liked it, one thing I could tell you typing on this new keyboard is there's a lot of muscle memory built in. Meaning when I'm typing, I automatically want to go look at the touch bar and it's not there anymore. And so that has been an incredible adjustment to not automatically go to the touch bar, to realize it's not there and that I can't use the touch bar. So that's one thing I've had to get used to, but the typing experience has been great. So the keyboard. Now, the fourth thing is that I like about this is it's not as heavy as I thought. Now, when I initially picked this thing up, I'm like, holy smokes, this is going to be super heavy compared to what I used to. And then especially as a digital nomad that's traveling through an airport and is moving around to various locations, I thought this thing would be way too heavy. And in fact, it's not as heavy as I thought. So, I mean, it's noticeably heavier than my 13 inch, but this is not unbearable. And in fact, here is the backpack that I use to travel around the world. and there's a little pouch inside here. If you notice here, it fits. It fits just fine. There's no issue fitting this in my everyday backpack that I take with me to co-working. We co-work here in Puerto Rico, so we go to a lot of co-working locations, and I'm putting this in here. And then we also travel to airports. And even if with this in here, with all of my stuff, it's not significantly heavier. Like, it's not noticeable to where it's going to drag me down. So while it may be heavier than I'm used to with the 13-inch, it's definitely not as heavy as I thought it would be. And that's great, because now I can be portable and I can be mobile. I know one concern with the 16-inch in particular is it too big? For me, it's not too big. I can put it in the backpack and everything is great. The fifth thing is the processing power. So I mentioned speed, but just the power to handle multiple complex tasks. Even on this M1 Pro, this is not the Max, the Pro, it can handle anything that I throw at it. Oh, and then the other thing is the super fast charging. So number 6, super fast charging. This 140 watt power brick, this thing is a beast. Now they say that it will charge from dead to 50% charge in 30 minutes. I think it actually might be faster than that. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't actually tested it, but as an everyday average user, I'm not sitting here running these benchmarks. I just know that when I plug this in, how fast it charges, it's incredibly fast. Like, it's insane how fast it is. I plug this thing in and it feels like just a few minutes later, like it has a full juice. So this thing is fast, it charges fast. I like the braided cable, but as far as functionality, when we're co-working and I need this thing charged, we're out traveling, I need to charge fast, this does the trick. So this absolutely works as advertised. It's absolutely great. The seventh thing that I like is the ports, having all the ports back. So when I get done recording this YouTube video, I'll take the SD memory stick out of this camera, out of this Sony DZ1 that I'm using here, and I will be able to plug it right into the Mac and be able to export my videos, and that is amazing. To be able to use I have a microphone back here, and I have a light that we use when we do Zoom videos because we want the light good, we want the mic good. To be able just to plug those directly into the Mac and not have to have a dongle accessory that you attach with it, it is amazing. Not to have to bring all of these attachments and accessories with me is absolutely amazing. And then the last thing that I'll mention that I really like is I like the camera. So we're on Zoom a lot for what we do in our online business, whether that's video interviews, podcast interviews, or teaching programs. We're on Zoom quite a bit. So to have the 1080p full HD webcam, I could tell you already, people have said, wow, like your webcam looks incredible. What webcam is that? And I'm like, it's the one on my MacBook Pro. And so it is as advertised, the webcam, it is great. So all in all, I'm very happy that I upgraded from the original 13-inch M1 to the 16-inch M1 Pro. I'm incredibly happy that I upgraded to this machine. It has met most of my expectations. I don't regret spending the $3,000 on the machine. But I told you I'd be blatantly honest. Let me tell you the things that I don't like about this. So there's really a couple things that I have found that I do not like about this machine here. The first thing is the battery life. So on the original 13-inch M1 MacBook that I had, that MacBook legitimately, with what I do with web surfing from, let's say, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then in the evening streaming some Netflix and some YouTube, that original M1 could go 2 days without a charge, and it might have even been longer than that. The battery life on that original M1 was insane. It was absolutely insane. I marveled at how I didn't have to charge it. And when at the beginning of the video, I told you about this iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's the same thing. Like, I can go 2 days without charging this. So the battery life is insane, just like it is on this iPhone. However, on this 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro, I cannot go 2 days. So in my real world testing, I tracked every single day that I'm using this. On average, I open my computer to start working and work on our business every day around 10 a.m. I get done with work every day around 4 p.m. I don't usually work past that. This is the average. And then in the evening from, let's say, after dinner, so like maybe 7 to like 10 at night, I'm either watching some Netflix shows, some Hulu shows, or I'm watching a lot of YouTube, and I'm doing it on this MacBook. And I'll tell you that I can go maybe a day with the battery life. That's maybe a day. By the end of the day of working from 10 to 4 and then streaming like a Netflix or a show or YouTube for 3 hours, this thing is completely dead. And I'll charge it, it'll charge fast, and it'll be ready to go for the next day. But for me, coming from a computer where I could go for 2.5 days to one where I could just get a day, I don't know. It's a first world problem. I get it. You're like, shut up. Like, you're complaining. You have an all day battery life computer and you're sitting here complaining. Yes, I know. But I want to be brutally honest with you. The battery life for me in the 16-inch M1 Pro is not as good as the original M1. It's not even close. It's not even close in my everyday real world use. So if you're going to do that, understand it is a legitimate all-day battery life machine. So you won't have a problem using it all day long and all the tasks that you want to do. But know that at the end of the night, you're going to have to charge it every single night. So I can't think of a lot of scenarios in my life, like maybe when we're on airplanes and traveling to Asia and we're on 16-hour flights, but even then I could plug it in and it would be fine. I can't think of a lot of circumstances where having it for one day and charging at night would be an issue for me, but I don't know what your use case is. I don't know what you're using it for. Just know that the battery life in here, it's a legitimate all-day battery computer. I'm not saying it won't last you the whole day. It will last the whole day for most users, but it's not comparable to the original M1. So if you're coming from the original M1, you might be disappointed in the battery life. The second thing that I'm disappointed in is that this thing gets hot. The bottom of this thing, let's see there, the MacBook Pro at the bottom there, but the bottom of this thing gets incredibly hot. So when I'm on a longer Zoom call or when I'm watching Netflix or YouTube for hours, this machine gets legitimately hot. And me, with the original M1, it never got hot. In the whole time that I own it, I never heard the fan once. It never got hot. The new M1 Pro, the 16-inch, it gets hot on the bottom. And that one was a little disappointing for me. I'm like, man, dude, the thermals in here I thought would be better just because of how this chassis is built. But I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tech reviewer. I couldn't give you the technical reasons, but all I could tell you as an everyday average user, I could tell you that my original M1 never got hot. The fans never came on, but on this new M1 Pro, the 16-inch, it does get hot. So you're going to get one day on the battery. Depending on what you're doing, this machine is going to get hot, and it's more than likely that you're going to hear the fans. So I just wanted to be really honest about that and let you know that it actually disappointed me. And again, I know this is first world problems. I'm complaining about things that really I shouldn't complain about, but I want to be honest with you about that, about the battery life and about the fact that it gets incredibly hot. Those are some things that I think you need to know about this MacBook. But other than those two things, using it every day for a week, using it pretty hardcore use for what we do in our business, I'm grateful I got this. It's an excellent machine. I am in love with it. I'm going to use it for years to come. I'm glad I got the 16 gigabytes of RAM versus 32 because I don't do anything that would justify 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I think as far as future proofing, I think it's fine. I think 16 gigabytes of RAM is going to be fine for me for a very long time. So I'm happy with this machine and I'm grateful for it. So in conclusion, if you have an Intel-based Mac and you're thinking about upgrading to one of these M1 Pro or M1 Max machines, I think it's a wise decision. I think you're going to be I think it's going to leapfrog any of the Intel MacBook Pros that somebody watching this might have. I think it's a worthy investment. If you're coming from the M1 Pro 13-inch and you specifically want to upgrade to the 16-inch, I can't speak to the 14-inch because I'm not a tech reviewer, so I don't have multiple versions of this MacBook ordered, or Apple didn't send me any of this. I bought this thing with my money. This is my money that paid for this thing, so I'm not getting paid or sponsored or whatever by anybody. If you're going to upgrade from the original M1 to the 16-inch, just know that the battery life, it's not going to be as good as you had, and know that depending on what you do, this machine is going to get hot. Let you make your decision with those factors, but know that the ports are amazing. The new webcam's amazing. The larger screen is absolutely incredible. The typing experience is amazing. It's lightning fast. It can handle anything that you could throw at it. It's a great machine. So if you ordered one or you're thinking about ordering one, I think that you are probably not going to be disappointed. But for me, I was a little disappointed with the battery life on this thing, and I was disappointed with how hot that it gets sometimes. So those are the two caveats. But no matter what you decide, I wanted to give you my impressions as an everyday, non-techie, average user. I want to let you know what I thought of it, how I'm using it. I want you to make the best decision for you. And for my fellow entrepreneurs, this can be a business expense. And again, $3,000 for this machine. Then you add in the Apple Care to that. You know, it could get up there. But it's a great business expense, and if you're like, well, how do I pay for this thing? You know what? You're an entrepreneur. Just go out and get some more sales, and you can pay for this thing. And I've already made my money back on this thing by getting more business, so it's been a great machine. But thank you for joining me. If you missed my unboxing, I will link to that below, and make sure you go watch that unboxing video. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a writer, if you're a content creator that is looking to leverage content and large publications to build your business, make sure you subscribe to my channel, click the bell notifications for updates. You're going to get a lot of content about how you can use content and large publications to build your business. You're going to get geeky tech products that help you build your business. You're going to see travel videos from locations all over the world, and there's going to be a lot of good stuff here. But for anybody that is thinking about ordering one of these machines, I don't think you'll be disappointed. You might be a little disappointed at the battery life of the 16-inch, but I don't think that you'll be disappointed, and I don't think that it's something that should dissuade you from not buying it, because I think it's absolutely worth the money. I think it's a great investment. And for me, being here in Puerto Rico, just logistics, I had ordered it on Apple's app, and they had given me a lead time of like a month. So when we're going back to Florida, and they had told me that it would be there then. Then they pushed the delivery date back, and my wife just happened to be in Florida for a conference, and I saw that on bestbuy.com they had it. I ordered it right away. She picked it up and she brought it back here to Puerto Rico. So you might have to do a little finagling to get these machines, because it seems like, you know, there's a lot of demand and there's a delay with Apple. Don't miss out on checking Best Buy or some of the other like electronics retailers, and you might find it there. That's how I got mine. My wife brought it back, and I'm incredibly glad I got it. But that's it for my review. A lot of good stuff. The battery life is not as good as the M1. It does get hot, but as long as you know that up front, you'll be all right. This is Kamanzi Constable signing out. Thanks for being here.